Boy, as you guys can see, it is not a pretty day out here today. It is raining. It's been raining all day and night. We knew we weren't going to be able to work. Today's Tuesday. We're definitely not going to be able to work tomorrow. It's going to be rainy and misty like this. But if you watched yesterday's video, we picked a bunch of tomatoes. I had to go get the scale because we're going to weigh all these tomatoes and see how many we got. And I only picked one basket of Rama tomatoes. So I'm going to come out here and get the rest of the tomatoes for Rachel. She's already started processing some of them before I could get the scale for her to weigh them. So, and then all the scraps, I was reading on worms, and I don't know. Guys, let me know. I've been feeding them tomatoes. Some places say you shouldn't feed them tomatoes, but they're thriving. So I'm going to keep putting all the tomato scraps in there and see how they're doing. I'm going to do a little better this time trying to multiply these worms. I read 1,000 worms can consume, which is 1 pound, can consume approximately a half a pound to 4 pounds of food a day. So I've been way under feeding these worms, and we really want to get these going, especially because we have more buckets we can make more with. But let me go get this food scale to Rachel, and then I'm going to come out here and pick tomatoes with you guys and see how many we get, and we'll feed these worms and just do a couple things around the yard here. Obviously, I can't mow the yard. There's a lot that needs to be cleaned up. The garden's out of control. But even look at these. Now, I am starting to lose all my tomatoes. So what I think I'm going to do, plants that are really, if you look at this plant, how it's getting really bad blight on it, I am going to pull all these green tomatoes and put them in a brown paper bag to let them ripen faster. And we have tons of green tomatoes, plus a lot of red tomatoes. But I don't want the blight to catch up to the tomatoes itself, because it will start blighting the tomatoes. So, and you get store-bought tomatoes, they pick them green and they send them to the store and they ripen. So these hanging baskets are still doing really good. I lowered them all to suck up this rain that we're getting right now. I got to come out here and cut back all the flowers. I've been doing that regularly. And all these baskets are putting on new flowers, and they smell so good when they bloom. Look, so pretty. So, advice or tip, you can pretty much cut these bad boys, petunias, all the way down to there, and they start putting on new growth on this. Look, this one had nothing on the stem. And nature and the plant somehow figures out how to push something out the side and put growth on here. Pretty much a lot of plants will do that. I cut back this hydrangea, that did that. I cut all these back, they reflowered. The only thing that I didn't get to come back really nice was this lavender. That struggled. And if I want to, I can make cuttings off these ice plants, which would be a real cool thing to do in the winter. If I can bring them in the house, some of them, and get them to root under lights, and just have all kinds of ice plants next year to make bigger for like a stock plant. Oh man. And I want to cut this back too and use that. We're going to get a distiller to do all the oils in probably a couple weeks. We're going to get that. And look at all this coleus. All this here, guys, all this was started from seed. We started all this from seed. Not all the plants out here, but the coleus we started from seed. The petunias we started from seed. This hydrangea never bloomed, never got one bud on it. I think the freeze got it early, but it's going to be a nice plant next year, hopefully. And these ones I did not cut back. Look how miserable it is out here. Okay, let me go take this in, and then I'll be back out in the misty, foggy weather to pick a whole bunch of tomatoes. I'm hoping we get at least, I'm going to say we get at least 50 pounds of tomatoes, but we'll see. Okay, guys. I'm out here. Rachel wanted me to get her some, she's making salsa. I think that she wanted me to get peppers for the salsa. So I'm going to pick peppers. And yeah, I did bring fire out here with me to hope it keeps these mosquitoes away. So let me get her as many peppers as I can, and then we're going to go get all these tomatoes. Look at all the weeds. Man, I haven't cleaned this garden out in forever. There's pepper plants down in here, if you see. That's where all these other peppers are. But these ones aren't that big. This one's good. This one's good. So we got 2. Let's see how many we can get for Rachel. So we have 2. Here's a good one. Oh man, we got quite a few. I don't think we have enough to make our pickled peppers, guys. Just get this small one. Not bad. It'll make a salsa. Maybe we'll get some more out of this. But as you can see, everything is looking pretty bleak out here. Oh, here's two more. I might as well get these ones. Okay, here's all the banana peppers I got. We don't have a lot. Like I said, I didn't do good on peppers this year. I did horrible on peppers. Huh. Wonder if this is any... Oh my gosh, look at that. No, these are all my bell peppers and nothing really significant. That's why I can't wait to start in raised beds where I can control, like, I mean, the soil here isn't the best. Okay, guys, this is all the peppers I got. Not many, but it'll do for Rachel. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting all these tomatoes to bring her another batch of tomatoes in. Okay, guys, here's the next batch of tomatoes I got. So, I don't think we're gonna have as many as I thought. I think we actually lost a bunch.
Really?
Out there, yeah, but I think I can fill this up probably 5 or 6 more times, both of these, maybe all 3 of these.
What are you feeding them to the chickens though?
And the worms.
Okay, because the chickens really like them too.
Yeah, I've been throwing them. I'll go back and scatter them.
And remember, any that aren't great is still okay to pick for Jovi.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you're gonna have a ton of green ones. I don't think we should leave the green ones out there.
Okay, cool.
Right?
So I do want to make pickled tomatoes.
Plus, we're gonna just put some in bags. I think they'll ripen quick like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is the next day. Obviously, it doesn't look any better than it was yesterday. It rained all night and all this morning so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're on our way. In this little dry patch we have, we're gonna go measure out this property for topsoil before they end up putting sod down. We want to recommend how much topsoil they need to put down. Even in the beds where they're going to do mulch and we're going to do plantings because we want it to be kind of amended. So we're going to go get that done, run a couple more errands, then we'll get back and do some odd and end things at the house. Like, I don't know, I got
another office day.
Yeah, for Rachel, she's got to send out a whole bunch more quotes. We have our big 80,000 square foot property to do. She's got to send a quote out.
Yeah, and obviously our schedule is like, so people that we were supposed to aerate already, we're gonna have to reschedule and do all that fun stuff. So fun day.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on like cleaning some things up and feeding the worms that the new buckets we made a couple weeks back. So we'll take you along that little odds and ends around the house today, guys. But we're gonna go measure this out because our future job is in there.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been doing this out here for a good hour now. It's almost over though. And we're gonna come out here and feed our worms in a minute. And then hopefully get some other things done out here. But we'll see.
Oh my gosh, you need to mow your lawn.
Man, your lawn is pretty long. Wow.
It's obviously not getting done today. Look at this.
Yeah, I know. Look at by the truck. So, as you guys seen earlier, we went to look at that property again. We're going to look at plants now to replace one that you guys seen. So, we're going to take you to a place called Jesse Israel's to look at some plantings.
Yeah.
We have to replace one, the dead one, maybe 2. We'll have to see. But we're going to get a price on them so we can send her over the quote for that.
Yep.
And the sod.
Yes.
Now, it stinks. We're going to have to give her a quote for the sod and the mulch, but I think we're going to have to do the sod first.
Yeah.
Come back and do the mulch because we have to do the neighbor's project first.
Yeah.
So,
So, yeah. So, we want to get the sod down because we want to get that down quickly.
It's important. Projects can wait because mulch, it's good to have stuff mulch. And for people going into winter, it is still good to mulch your stuff before the winter. If you haven't mulched it, it does protect the plants and the roots and stuff. So it's not like putting down mulch is a waste.
Especially when you're in like a zone like us, like zone 7A. We never know what winter is going to be like.
Yeah.
You know, we could get a pretty cold winter and you want to protect those plants the best that you can. so that hopefully they are perennials and they do come back the following year.
Hey, quick question: does coleus come back?
I do not think so.
Okay, I didn't think so too, because it's
annual.
really, that's a new plant that I love. Rachel had planted. We started from seed. That really
and
grows
to be honest
beautiful.
with you, oh my goodness, that coleus was like dollar store seeds, I think, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
And they really did turn out very pretty. So I am gonna look at, like, we ordered some of our seeds from like local Eden Brothers and So True Seed, but I'm gonna see if they have coleus, to be honest with you.
And the funny thing is, it took so long for it to grow too, and it was, remember how it was like kind of struggling in the beginning?
Well, I think we might have stunted it because we may have started just a tad bit early, maybe a week or two. We always jump the gun on that. You know, we look at it like, oh, spring is going to be here in April, so we can get the stuff out in April.
And it is okay to plant earlier like that if you have a greenhouse and the space to keep it warm all the time and the temperature. We have it in our house, and you know how much the temperature fluctuates. It gets dry in there, and so we don't have the right conditions, but we do overplant and go a little early but I've calmed down. One year we had tomato plants growing 8 foot up into the ceiling in the kitchen at one of the houses we were staying at. So we went, and pepper plants that had peppers on them before the first frost before the last frost, right?
Yeah. Like I said, we usually jump the gun because we always look at it like, oh, April, yay. And that's not necessarily a case here. Like, it's really like we get warm, but then I think that we get cold again.
Yeah, because you still have them cold fronts that dip down from up north. And, and it gets windy and cold. That's been our problem with our little makeshift greenhouses have blown away. So now I think that one over there, the one we built, that'll be sturdy to be able to do. We just got to keep it sealed because it's got all the cage around it and everything, right?
I'm so sorry, but when I looked over there, I saw hummingbird at the pineapple sage.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry. I know that distract you guys, but when you look over, I just wish that you guys were in the car with me. Back to what we were, we never know what the weather is going to be, but we do have to finish these projects before the winter comes.
Yes, and we got it. And like we said, with the sod project, we have to get that and the aerations and stuff done before we can continue on any projects because that's time sensitive. We only have maybe a good month and a half, probably a month and a half, 2 months before we start getting hard freezes and the grass stops growing and goes dormant. So we want to have all our seeding done by the end of September.
Lawn renovations.
Yeah, lawn renovations by the end of September. First week of October, no latest. And then sod, you can put sod down in the winter.
Yeah.
It's just that I want to put it down while it's still a little warm out, so the roots can do something.
So we can get the roots to grow into. I think she has pretty good soil, but we're gonna put soil down anyway. And then we're just gonna be definitely at least one planting job.
Yeah.
We have to get with that other too, with the hill. So we might even do that one before we do this big one that we're looking at, because this big one might have to be pushed until those landscapers are done with what they're doing.
Yeah, me and Rachel were talking. We think they should put in the beds that they're going to put in and the plantings that they're going to put in. And we're going to design new beds, and because we look through the development, and you can look in the development and kind of see what kind of designs they do. And they have beds that are no further than 3 feet off the house. And they do have curves and stuff, but they're not as big and intricate as we would do it.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if they want to let them do all that, because they're going to mulch it anyway. And then we come in and cut out the sod, make the beds a little bigger, rearrange any plants because they would have just been planted.
Right.
And they're going to be really small compared to what we can get, and then add to the landscape. And because it's hard, they have plants they want to bring over from their old house. It's hard to draw something up if I don't know what the other people are putting in.
And to be honest with you, we don't want to take plants out and put them over there and hope that they plant them.
Yeah.
Because what if they don't? And then we lose the plantings. Nobody's over there to water them.
So this one's a little, we
It's
play
gonna
it by
be tricky.
day by
Yeah.
day on this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to get other ones done. But let's go look at these plants real quick.
Yeah, we have to look at plants. That's first and foremost because we need to get over ideas so that we can have concrete, definitely what we're doing.
So let's go do that.
Upcoming month.
Yes.
Yay.
So let's go do that, and then we'll get back and feed these worms, and then do some other things in the garden. I really think this rain is gonna make the garden look better. We just got to clean it up, guys. It's a mess. So we are here. This is where we get some of our plantings. These are snapdragons.
Yeah.
Gonna go look at some evergreens.
Pretty, right?
Yeah, that is pretty.
Look at the mold.
Dill.
Yeah, wow.
These things grow all winter.
Yeah, what it,
Pansies.
and violas and all that.
Oh, look at those moms.
Yeah, these are pansies.
Pretty. Okay, we're gonna take you over to the evergreens now, don't they?
So what is this? Silver thyme. Silver thyme. Oh, here's some asters.
It's the milkweed. Is that milkweed?
Yeah.
You're gonna buy a $9 plant to break it off and feed to your
I
butterflies?
know, right? Oh, look, and they do have some, what is it?
Oh, butter-
Native.
Oh,
Native butterfly weed.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
We have this.
Yeah, this is pineapple sage.
I know.
We have that, yeah.
Oh, what's this? It's really pretty. So we went through and took a whole bunch of pictures of all the evergreens and stuff like that just to see. Now we're over here in this section.
Yeah.
What is this? Echinacea?
Oh, yeah, it might be, right?
Yeah, am I good or what?
Oh, Black Eye
Oh,
Susans.
no, I'm bad.
Yeah, they look like it though, right?
Yeah.
They do look like echinacea.
So we're about done here.
So, meadow sage.
What are these, cranberries? No, tea berries.
Oh, tea berries.
Wintergreen, you know you can eat these? I think these ones you can eat, right?
Probably.
Wait, let me see. Oh yeah, smell them.
Ooh,
We-
wow.
We used to eat these out of the forest when we were kids. Look how pretty that is out there.
Yeah.
All these
At
pretty
least it's not
flowers.
raining anymore, right?
Yeah, I know. Look at all the pretty colors, guys. One day our farm's gonna look like this.
Yeah.
With all the pots and everything. So this is the worm bucket that I pulled that all the extra worm castings were in. So what I'm doing, all this stuff, it's funny, it grew up inside the top. So everything I find, I'm gonna add into this bucket, so we'll have 5 worm buckets. Hopefully I find like 75 worms, because then that'll make 225 worms in each bucket. Let me see how many I can get out of here, and then I'll go ahead and feed these ones, guys. Hopefully you enjoy these type of videos. This is just my experiment. Eventually I'd like to have 100 buckets of worms and get all the worm compost. And we're eventually gonna sift this. Rachel's ordering me some sifters so we can get all the cocoons and everything out. For now, I'm just gonna, like I said, leave the bucket and collect the worms as I go. So, and I haven't been feeding these buckets here. I feed these buckets. Let's see. Now I gotta go through this one here, as you can see. But I got 60 something worms out of the old bucket that I went through that had all the worm castings in it, and I put a little food scraps at the top to see if there were any more. So obviously I missed 60 something in that one. I'm gonna go through this one and see how many I missed. And I'm gonna dry this out some because it's really wet. And there's a lot of, I think, soldier fly larvae in here. So I'm gonna sift through it and see, and I'll give that to the chickens if there is. I see them hatching. In some buckets there are others, more than others. So let's go ahead and see how many more worms I get. And we actually decided with these fuchsia baskets We're gonna let them bloom out one more time, and right before we get a frost, we're gonna bring all these in and we're gonna cut them, all the green off of them, cut them way back, cut all the green off of them, and we're gonna try to overwinter these fuchsias and see if we can get them to come out of dormancy. And I think we might even, when they come out, start taking clippings off of them in the early spring. So we'll see how that goes. I have a lot of ideas, but these ones I cut back here, they're getting new flowers. And then these all need water. Look, these ones, these fuchsias, I did not cut back. And actually, look at all the flowers I got on them. All the blooms, guys. So it's a couple days later in this video, guys. I did end up getting, look at all this, all my beds are full of weeds. I did end up getting these buckets finished last night. I ended up making 5 of them. So I rebuilt the buckets because they were kind of wet and there wasn't much in there. So I have 5 completely built buckets that are way better now, hopefully. They each have about 225, 250 worms in them. So we'll just say 225, that gives us, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 1,100 worms. So we're gonna go with that. And then in the middle of the winter, we're gonna go ahead and look at these buckets again and see if we multiplied this to at least 2,200 worms. And then this is all my worm castings. After separating all that from the box, this thing's heavy. But what I ended up doing, because I don't have a sifter yet, I ended up putting more stuff in here to feed worms. Just in case there's any in there or any eggs. And then once I get a sifter, I'm going to sift through all this with a 1/12 screen to screen it all out and go through it, get all the soldier fly larvae out if it's still in there. And then we'll have nice worm castings and stuff. I'm going to work on this. It's getting to be a little late out tonight. We worked all day mowing today, but it's nice and cool out, and today was really cold. Today's high was only 63, I think it was, and tonight's going down to 39. But it's so nice out to mow in this that I'm going to try getting at least the front yard mowed, and we'll just work our way around and try to maintain this as we're doing the other parts too. But this, as you can see, is really, really long. And I'm going to do it with the beast, and I'm going to hopefully, I'm just going to cut it high. Keep it at the highest setting and maybe drop it one more time. Let's see how that goes, guys. Get you some mowing of this overgrown disaster. So, I have stuff growing all in here, as you guys can see. All these baskets. There's even ice plants. This is phlox in here. Even some columbine. Not columbines. I forget what those are. But everything's growing up. Oh yeah, they are columbines. All this here is wild zinnias that just seeded for some reason right there. We never grew zinnias there. Oh no, yeah, one was in a bucket last year. One zinnia did all this. And as you can see, this is just a complete disaster out here. But it'll make a good video because I'm gonna have to weed eat all this mess. You see it all? All this mess has got to be weed eated all over there. Where I have my Mexican sunflowers. All that has to be weed eated. Oh man, I don't know how we're gonna move them fig trees when we move. Maybe we'll just leave them there. guys, I'm done this part of the video. It's getting dark out. If you want to see me clean up the rest of the garden and see what else goes on in the garden for the end of the year, just keep out for them videos. They don't go up daily. They go up every week maybe, or once in a while. But I'm gonna call it a night for this. Guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, guys, be happy, or at least try.